Hey, A-Push people. So this video is coming to you from a hotel room, as you can see. But the best part about distance learning is that you can come from pretty much anywhere in the world and still provide great tutoring opportunities for you. So last Friday we talked a lot about English exploration and their investment to explore this new world, as so-called Christopher Columbus put it. So it's just right to now talk about Spanish and French exploration, starting with Spain and going to France. So, Spanish exploration. Columbus's return from the New World created an abundance of activity throughout Europe. Old World monarchs dispatched explorers and small armies to the newly discovered continent to establish outposts, spread religious beliefs, and seek treasure. The advanced Indian civilization of South and Central America were prime targets for invasion because of their abundance of gold and silver. So, the two main purposes behind Spanish exploration, I might argue, is spread of religious beliefs, which is Christianity, and seek treasure. As Spain and Portugal battled for legal rights to the New World, Pope Alexander V, a Spaniard, mediated a compromise that divided the non-Christian world between the two powers. The Treaty of Tordesillas drew an imaginary line from the Arctic Pole to the Antarctic Pole, 100 leagues west of the Cape Verde Islands, which are located west of the African coastline. The decision gave Spain, I'm sorry guys, gave Spain rights to anything west of the line and the opportunity to explore and settle the known New World. Brazil, however, though part of the New World, was settled by the Portuguese because it was on the eastern side of its treaty line. So to mediate between the world powers, a imaginary line was drew up to say, hey, this group of people can explore this side, but this group of people has to stay on its side and only explore that side. Within a decade after Columbus's landfall, thousands of Spanish conquistadors, explorers, and settlers ventured across the southern portion of the present-day United States, though Mexico, and southward into Peru. The conquistadors were typically professional sailors, soldiers, and sailors recruited to fight for church and crown. However, many nobles, peasants, and members of the middle class also joined the excursion in search of adventure and wealth. The lust for gold was a common motivator that sometimes drove the explorers to perform heinous acts against the Native Americans. Military conquest, diseases, slavery, and deceit broke the Indians' resilience, while Indian allies' superior weapons and horses provided conquistadors the strength and mobility to control vast populations. So, this is the rip that many explorers got to the New World. And the reason why I put quotes behind the New World was it was only the New World to half of the world. To the other half that lived in present day Americas, it was their world. So these powers, the Spanish, French, and English, went over, crossed the Atlantic, and performed heinous acts against Native Americans to control them and to conquest their land. The first known European explorer to set foot on what became the United States was Juan Ponce de Leon. In 1493, the Spanish explorer accompanied Christopher Columbus on his second voyage to America. As a reward for his assistance in suppressing Indian revolts, he was named the governor of present-day Puerto Rico. After subjugating the Indians on Puerto Rico and amassing a fortune in gold and slaves, he was replaced as governor. So, to gain popularity and to gain political status, it was known that you had to, conquest this new world. Free to dedicate his attention to exploration, he set out to find the fabled island of Bimini. He was driven to discover new lands, gold, slaves, and possibility, the legendary Fountain of Youth. Many believed that those who drank from the fountain would be cured of all illnesses, and their youthful appearance would be restored. He sailed northwest from Puerto Rico until he reached Florida. He followed the coastline south, rounded the peninsula, and explored much of the Florida's west coast. So he was the first documented explorer to ever explore the Americas. The King of Spain honored Ponce de Leon with a knighthood and named him governor of Florida. He was unable to mount a second expedition until 1521, when an attempt was made to colonize Florida. However, the natives no longer passively accepted Spanish domination, and Ponce de Leon was mortally wounded during an Indian attack. He discovered neither great wealth nor the Fountain of Youth, and failed to establish a permanent settlement in Florida. So his whole mission to set up a colonial fort for Spanish domination in Florida failed when he became mortally wounded in an Indian attack. So at this moment, Florida is not conquered by Spain, has not conquered Florida yet. In 1540, another Spanish explorer, not even gonna try to say his name because I will butcher it. It's on the topic outline for this video. So this explorer that I can't name began a trek through what is now the southwestern United States in search of the fabled treasures of the seven cities of Cibola. The expedition consisted of several hundred Spaniards, some African slaves, and about 1,000 Indian allies. They discovered the Grand Canyon and the abode pueblos of the Zuni in New Mexico, which were later determined to be the source of the Cibola legend. Not Corona, Cibola. Corona though, not Corona. Pushed as far north as the plains of Kansas, where vast herds of buffalo roamed. But he never found gold, silver, or other riches, and returned to Mexico City. Although his journeys familiarized the Spanish with the Pueblo people and the geography of the American Southwest, Coronado was considered a failure because he did not bring back the famed riches of Cibola. Not Corona, Cibola. So, this explorer, in all essence, wound up the same failure as the one who failed to not colonialize Florida. During the same period that Coronado ventured through the southwest, Hernando de Soto landed in Florida and explored the southeastern portion of the present-day United States. His party included more than 600 soldiers with armor, about half of them mounted on horseback, and was considered to be the best equipped expedition yet in the New World. De Soto traveled through Florida into the Carolinas and westward towards the Mississippi River, where he became the first European to view the Father of Waters. Disappointed by the lack of riches in the small Indian villages that they encountered, the Spanish typically attacked the natives and burned their villages. In May 1542, De Soto was stricken with a fever and died near Natchez. About half of the expedition ultimately returned to Mexico, empty-handed and dressed in rags and skins, after a 4-year ordeal. In 1542, Juan Rodriguez Cabrillo led an expedition to explore the western coast of California. So we have the west coast about to be at least explored. As a young conquistador, he served in the Spanish army and helped Hernan Cortez conquer the Aztecs. Cabrillo's experience as an explorer prompted the Viceroy of New Spain to select him to lead the exploration of the Pacific coastline as far north as San Francisco Bay. I'm in California right now, and I am actually near the places he explored. Although he died during the journey, Cabrillo established the Spanish claim to California. Okay, we are going. Alright, the Spanish explorations opened a new world to European settlers. Hundreds of new villages were established throughout the United States, primarily in the South, from Florida through Texas and into California. Some Spaniards took control of existing Indian villages as encomenderos. Through the Spanish system called encomenda, favored officers were given land and ownership of one or more Indian. I'm sorry about that, guys. I've never ever had the fire alarm pulled on me at a hotel ever. So I'm gonna wrap up by talking about French explorers and the mission system in the next video. See you guys later.